Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you for joining the webinar. Before starting the event, we'd like to ask participants to kindly mute the microphone on the device you're using right now to avoid any disturbances during the webinar. Thank you very much. The Honorable Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, Cooperation, and Public Communication of Universitas Ponegoro, Dr. Wijayanto. We would also like to acknowledge and welcome a warm greeting to representatives of Circular Cities Asia, Ms. Susanna Pomeroy and Ms. Roline Gales-Filena. Joining us as well as the speaker, Professor Dr. Insinyur Purwanto DEA from Faculty of Engineering of Universitas Ponegoro, Head of Institute of Research and Community Services, Head of SDGs Center of Universitas Ponegoro. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to International Webinar Undip Sustainability Talks on Circular Economy Innovation in Higher Education Institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, the current linear take-make-dispose system leads to environmental degradation, climate change, resource depletion, and biodiversity, as well as economic losses. In response to these growing challenges, the circular economy has emerged as a transformative approach that reimagines economic systems to prioritize sustainability, efficiency, and regeneration. The transition to a circular economy demands innovative thinking, cross-sector collaboration, and capacity building at multiple levels, while we are actually remaining in the early stages of adoption. I think everyone joining the webinar today agree that we need a circular approach focused on reducing waste, reusing materials, and recycling resources as a pathway to a more sustainable and prosperous future, especially in Indonesia. But what is the most fit circular economy system or pattern in order to accelerate the circular transition and meaningfully contribute to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development? Well, it is delighted to have everyone joining the webinar to have knowledge sharing and cross-sector dialogue, as well as exchange of best practices on circular economy innovation in higher education institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, to commence the webinar, we kindly invite you to sitting down straight as we honor our nation with the national anthem, singing the national anthem, Indonesia Raya. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor to invite Vice Rector for Research, Innovation, Cooperation, and Public Communication of Universitas Ponegoro, Dr. Wijayanto, to deliver his welcoming remarks.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Goedemorgen. Selamat pagi. Sugeng Enjang untuk kita semua. The Honorable Head of SDG Center, the Honorable Head of Institute for Research and Community Service, LPPM. I also noticed there's Bu Desi, the Vice Director for Global Connectivity and also from SDG Center. And of course, the honorable speakers, Prof. Purwanto, Insinyur Ganjar Samudra, PhD, and also our colleague from Circle Cities Asia, Ms. Rulin Kyle Sevilena, and Susan Pomoroy. I hope I pronounced your name well. And I also noticed Vice Rector for Senior, Professor Ambarianto, among those who are in Zoom. And surely all of the distinguished guests and participants. It is a great pleasure and honor for me on behalf of the Ponegoro University to welcome all of you to this important seminar on circular economy, innovation in higher education institutions. Today's gathering represents more than just an academic dialogue. It is a vital step in rethinking how our universities can respond to some of the most pressing global challenges: environmental degradation, resources depletion, and sustainable consumption patterns. At Diponegoro University, we firmly believe that research, innovation, collaboration, and public communication must lead the way in the transition towards a circular economy. As a university located in a region deeply affected by ecological vulnerabilities, coastal erosion, flooding, and urban waste mismanagement, we are not just observers of the sustainability crisis. We are active participants seeking bold solutions. Higher education institutions are uniquely positioned to become living laboratories of sustainability. We house the knowledge, the creativity, and the young talents needed to design closed loop systems where waste is reimagined as a resource and linear models are replaced by circular innovations. The circular economy is not merely a technical fix, but a paradigm shift, one that calls for interdisciplinary collaboration, community engagement, and a deep rethinking of our production and consumption habits. In that spirit, I am heartened to see the diverse experts present in this seminar, from environmental science, engineering, and business to policy studies and marketing. Just yesterday, actually, I also, on behalf of the Ponegoro University, opened two important events. In the morning, conference by IRSA. The topic was about more or less the same topic about how the effort to foster climate change should be focused in the local efforts, how local can play a role in it, and it has something to do about the role of university as well. And later on the day, I opened another event, a summer course about water. So in a way, the event, the two conferences yesterday and also the seminar today still has a highlight there, still has a connection in which the importance of us to really committed in supporting the way we live, the way we do economy in a sustainable way. And I guess this is another good initiative of the Diponegoro University SDG Center. As Vice Director for Research, Innovation, Collaboration, and Public Communication, I reaffirm our commitment to promoting sustainable research, building networks that span academia, government, industry, and civil society, and supporting our scholars and students in becoming agents of change. Let this seminar be a platform not only to best practices but also to forge partnerships between institutions across borders, and most importantly, between ideas and actions. On behalf of Paretor, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to all the organizers, speakers, moderators, and participants. May this seminar spark meaningful dialogue, inspire innovation, and lead to impactful initiatives that help us build a more circular, sustainable future. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We would like to invite Dr. Wijayanto, speakers, and all participants to please open your camera. We'll have a group of photo session before we proceed to the next agenda. Okay, how many pages or slide do we have? How many pages or slide do we have? 4? Okay. Okay, please get ready, everyone, and open your camera. Please activate your camera. Okay, we'll start with first page or slide on 1, 2, 3. Okay, next slide, please. And 1, 2, 3. And third slide. 1, 2, 3. And next slide. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to sustainability talks on circular economy innovation in higher education institutions, followed by an interactive discussion. And as we mentioned before, that joining us now as the speakers, we have from Circular Cities Asia, Ms. Susanna Pomeroy. Good morning, Ms. Susanna.
Good morning.
And Ms. Susanna will speak about driven urban circularity, building local impact through storytelling and system innovation. And could you hold for a moment, Ms. Susanna? I'm about to call the next speaker is Ms. Rolene Gill Sefilena from Circular Cities Asia. Good morning, Ms. Rolene.
Good morning, everybody.
And Ms. Rowland will speak further about eco-social design for circular innovation, bridging materials, communities, and sustainability. And the next speaker, we have Professor Dr. Insinyur Purwanto D.A. Good morning, Prof. Purwanto.
Good morning.
And Prof. Purwanto will speak about circular economy meets green industry, strengthening business models through environmental engineering innovations. And this session will be moderated by Insinyur Ganjar Samudro, STMT PhD. Good morning, Bapak Ganjar Samudro.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Welcome. And before inviting the moderator, here is a brief biography of our moderator for today. So Insinyur Ganjar Samudro, STMT PhD, is a lecturer in environmental engineering, Faculty of Engineering, Universitas Ponegoro. Dr. Ganjar Samudro completed his bachelor and master degree in Environmental Engineering, Institute Teknologi Surabaya, and Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Engineering from Yamaguchi University, Japan. Currently, Dr. Ganjar Samudra is active as an environmental expert and team leader for water supply systems, water treatment, sewerage systems, wastewater treatment, solid waste management and treatment, and environmental documents since 2009. In 2025, Dr. Ganjar Samudra also takes part in circular economy project for Batang Integrated Industrial Estate. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we cordially invite Insinyur Ganjar Samudro STMT PhD.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Is that clear?
it's
Okay.
clear.
Thank you.
Very clear.
Thank you, MC, for this opportunity. And firstly, good morning and a warm welcome to everyone joining us from across Indonesia and beyond. And now I keep I keep counting the number of participants will be more than 100 now. And then thank you for being part of today's sustainability talks organized by the SDG Center in collaboration with the Research and Community Development Institution, University of Ponegoro. Today's webinar is termed Circular Economy Innovation in Higher Education Institutions, an increasingly critical area of dialogue as we work together toward a sustainable and regenerative future. So before we begin, I would like to express our special thanks and appreciation to Prof. Dr. Suarnomo, represented by Prof. Wijayanto, for his vision and support in championing sustainability initiative at University of Ponegoro. We also sincerely thank the SDG Center team at Undip University of Ponegoro, led by Professor Dr. Denny Nugroho Sugianto, for their leadership in organizing these important events. So before we begin, also, I would like to introduce the three presenter. First is Susanna Pomeroy, and then second is Rolling Gale Sevilena, and then third is Prof. Dr. Insinyur Purwanto DA. Firstly, I would like to also introduce the curriculum vitae of Susanna Pomeroy. I'm sorry if my pronunciation is not better. And then the education, she got a Bachelor of Arts, BA, from the Danforth University, and then the Master Degree Philanthropic Studies, University of Kent, and then Postgraduate Certificate, Marketing, CIM, the Chartered Institute of Marketing. Her experience is Circular Cities Asia Director, since February 2021 till present. And then her certification is also innovation through circular economy, trainer, Prevent with Alliance Leadership Training for Multipliers in the Circular Economy. And then the second speakers, maybe please, Rolling Gale Sevilena. She got the Bachelor of Arts, Greek and Roman Studies, minor Environmental Studies, University of Victoria, and then Master of Arts, Eco-Social Design, Lutheran's University of Applied Science and Arts. She also get a certificate Sustainable Design, certificate System Thinking, and now build incubator program, Social Entrepreneurship. Her work experience, trainer, Circular Economy Innovation, Circular Cities Asia, since February 2025 till presents, and then a lot of the work experience, I think. And then third speakers, please, next. Prof. Dr. Insun Purwanto. He got the Bachelor of Engineering, Chemical Engineering, University Ponegoro, and then Diploma EP, Process Engineering from France, and then Master of Engineering, Process Engineering from France, and then Doctor of Process Engineering from France. And then his experience, lecturer in Chemical Engineering, Information Studies and Information System, and head of Bureau of Planning and Development, head of Green Technology Research Group, and others, but publication around 15 books and 225 published articles. I think that is the curriculum of three speakers. I'm super excited to moderate the among the speakers, and then for the I would like to invite for the first presentation, presenter, Miss Susanna Pomeran. It's now my pleasure to introduce my first speaker, and then her presentation today is titled Youth-Driven Urban Circularity, Building Local Impact Through Storytelling and System Innovation. She will speak for around 30 minutes. Please welcome Susanna Pomeran. Time is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the kind introduction. Really happy to be here today to tell you more about the work that Circular Cities Asia has done, in particular with Desi and her team and the students over the last 4 years now that we've had a relationship with your university, which is really exciting.
It's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Let's share. Okay, so today I've been asked to give an introduction to Circular Cities Asia and in particular the work that we've done with your university. And the reason why we started to work with Undip is because we launched a flagship program called the Circular Campus Program, and we found common ground in the belief that we could accelerate sustainability in the circular economy if we were to engage young and intelligent minds on campus in a hands-on and practical way to teach them about concepts such as circular economy, but to also teach that in conjunction with lean innovation.
Yeah, Susan, sorry. The screen is dark. I cannot see your
Okay.
presentation.
What I will do is I just won't put it into present mode, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Bear with me a moment.
Yeah, or you can just send me emails. I can just trying to share the screen throughout here.
I'll just open it here. Is it big enough on your screen like this, or?
Yeah,
Or
I think,
or
or
should I
you,
send it? If I
you
put
can
it into
just,
present
yeah,
mode,
I think, yeah, this one is enough.
this one's enough.
Larger
Okay.
a little bit, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yes, we came together to be able to work with students not only on the principles of circular economy, but by using the principles of lean innovation and startup innovation to help to accelerate those sustainability ideas. So Circular Cities Asia is a social enterprise. We have been largely funded by philanthropic funding in our work. And we started when we founded the organization we founded it with the mission to build a community that accelerates the circular economy innovation across Asia. And we were hoping to do that by not just using capacity building programs, but the community piece was to try and build relationships cross-sectorally to be able to support that acceleration. So bringing together not just universities and funders, but also mentors and other organizations that would be able to bring their knowledge and their support to all of the people that took part in our programs. Our first flagship program was the Circular Campus program. That then morphed into the Circular Enterprise program. And we have also developed programs such as Train the Trainer programs that we've delivered with academics. And most recently, we've had a program called the Circular Stories program, which has also been a really successful initiative. As I said, mainly we have been very fortunate to get philanthropic funding for our programs, and we're particularly thankful to an organisation called the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, who supported us for 4 years to deliver our program across all of the different capacity building designs that we have delivered. We have mainly focused on working with youth, and we found that that's been a really successful sector for us. So, as I mentioned before, we've been active for around 4 years, and over the course of that 4 years, we have been active in around 30 universities, and that's been across Asia and Southeast Asia. Undip's been with us right from the start, which has been really exciting. So seeing all of our programs develop and grow, and we have been really fortunate to have some really engaged and motivated students from your university take part in the program. The program has always been based, as I said, on that intersection between the circular economy and lean innovation. And so when we have designed our workshops, we started it with a foundation of using a startup innovation playbook. And so every program that we've designed has the principles of problem solving and truly understanding a problem that you want to solve, and then being able to use design thinking and circular design principles to develop solutions to those problems that you've identified. And something that has been really core to our programs is that we have always encouraged all of our participants to think really deeply about the problems that are happening in their communities. And so that brings a really healthy and wide range of different subjects that we see coming through our programs because of the uniqueness of every community that any student is currently living in. We started our programs by letting students go and explore any problem that was happening either on their campus or in their locality. And then we started setting challenges for students as well. So these challenges have ranged from exploring environmental issues in public spaces to how we deal with plastic waste. So when we first started Circular Cities Asia, we started thinking about where we could be most successful and where circular design could be most successful. And the reason why we started to approach universities to take part in our program was because we had a belief that a lot of the complexities or a lot of the challenges that exist when you're trying to start your own company are because the environment that you're trying to launch in can often be very big, very complex, with lots of different stakeholders and lots of competition. And it's very easy when you're trying to start a business to fail very quickly. But if you are in a campus environment where essentially the infrastructure in a campus is very similar to a small city, you have people living there, working there, you have people eating there, shopping there, you have roads within it. So you almost have a living lab where you can experiment in a environment that is similar to a city, but you're less likely to fail because you have a lot of the support system around you. So we believe that universities can allow young innovators to not only find problems that would be similar to that they would find in their localities, but also use the infrastructure around them as a living lab to be able to quickly test and quickly understand whether they could succeed with building their ideas. And not only that, they've obviously got the support of experienced professors. It is an intellectual hub. There's lots of equipment that they can use, and also access to partnerships and to industry relationships that could help to accelerate their ideas. And as soon as we started to put that proposition together, we found that we had multiple universities that were really interested in engaging and taking part. And we were often told that the one big barrier to us succeeding with our ideas was going to be that we would find it difficult to engage with universities. And that's actually been the least of our worries. We've found that we've had awesome relationships with universities, and universities very quickly have engaged, and we've, very, very, very productive working relationships with universities to make this program successful. So we've always wanted to be able to inspire young people to be able to learn more about the circular economy in ways that maybe over the last few years or before weren't accessible to them because the curriculum was so new. Or there wasn't any curriculum in their university that yet existed when it came to the circular economy or circular innovation. And so we were often working with departments who would work with students on startup innovation, but this brought a new concept in terms of that circular innovation piece and a new area of dialogue for students to start learning. Because we were engaging with universities, we didn't need to necessarily teach a lot of theory. The students already get that theory within their university degrees. So what we're teaching is how to use hands-on tools and hands-on frameworks to be able to identify problems that they want to solve and think about how they might design solutions to those problems. And so when working within our programs, there's always a very practical element in terms of the work that students need to be able to deliver. We're also hoping to foster entrepreneurial mindsets. We want to be able to help students to be able to think about problems deeply, but also feel that they can take some ownership to go out and actually solve those problems themselves and not have to wait for other people to do it for them. As I've mentioned before, our partnerships with academia and the way that we're trying to connect academia and industry through our program has been a big focus for us. So I mentioned before that our programs are really centered around a startup innovation framework and playbook, and the journey that a student takes when they undertake the Circular Campus program or the Circular Enterprise program is, first of all, to understand problem discovery. And for us, as mentioned, really important that students can go and actually identify those problems in their own local environment, because it's equally important that those students are coming up with solutions that would be adopted by their local environment and in their local community as well. And so we present opportunities for students to use innovation frameworks, and as I say, to very practically go out and immerse themselves in their local environment to truly understand what environmental problems are happening and why they're happening. And then once they've done that, they can start thinking about ideating solutions. And whilst they're doing that, that's where we're teaching them what the principles of a circular economy are and how they can apply that when they're thinking about solutions to environmental problems. And we always when thinking about solutions, encourage people not to necessarily feel that they have to have solved a problem perfectly in their first go. We help them to see that there are ways to make strides towards environmental solutions. And it may be that there are 4 things wrong in a problem, but by just solving one of them in a circular way, they're already making huge strides towards environmental sustainability. So we do have a theory of change. The students that come and work with us may experience our program in a number of different ways, and there may be a number of different effects for them. First of all, just by taking part in our program, we hope that the majority of students will at least be informed. They'll be informed about what's going on in their local environment. They'll understand what the circular economy is, and they may just make better choices themselves in terms of their own lifestyle choices or even what they go on to do as a career. Those that continue to do our program and take part in the competition and really immerse themselves in creating a circular economy idea, they may go on to build on those changes. They, as I say, may increase their entrepreneurial skills. They may be inspired. They may contribute even to your campus by accelerating student ideas or getting more involved in your environmental clubs. And then we have the students who actually win our programs and spend money on, spend seed funding on growing and researching their ideas further. And those students, we think, they could be highly likely to pursue careers in the environmental sector. They could be highly likely to be really motivated when they leave university to think about the problems that they've identified and continue to work on the startups themselves and really make an impact once they graduate. And so the reason why we think we're successful is not only do we have this plug and play curriculum, we have frameworks and playbooks that can really easily be plugged in, and we can very easily train trainers on how to use all of our tools, how to use our toolkits. We pride ourselves on taking away the complexity of the circular economy. So we pride ourselves on being able to deliver the concepts of circular economy in a way that is easy to understand and easy to execute, and then easy as well for other trainers to be able to learn and then train themselves. We also pride ourselves, as I mentioned, on this hands-on learning that we provide. We really do want to ensure that our programs are very immersive. And so all of our programs have a team-based element, and they also have an ideation and competition element as well. And this really means that students can immerse themselves and really engage themselves in building something practical that they do want to present in a competition. And the other reason why we find that universities and students are very engaged in our program is because we have a regional network. And so when students take part in the Circular Campus or the Circular Enterprise program, they will be able to learn alongside and compete against students in other universities, not only in their own country, but across the region as well. We've had over 6,000 students now that have been exposed to our program, who've received our toolkits, who may have attended our workshops, and more than 300 teams have submitted startup ideas by using our playbook. 15 of those teams have gone through our incubation program, which is a 3-month program where they receive seed funding and where they receive further workshops from Roland and myself, as well as mentoring from industry mentors and workshops from other startup or environmental specialists in the region. As I mentioned before, we've had around 30 universities that have worked with us, and that has been across 8 countries in the region. Lots and lots of different ideas that have come out of the program, and it's all been really interesting, particularly, as I say, because students go into their own environments. We see so many different ideas. You can see here that they've ranged from tackling air pollution by reducing cars and increasing the use of bikes in the locality. We've also had lots of engineers who've worked on lots of different projects, including, projects where developing different solutions for concrete, where they're developing different solutions to flooding because the issue of concrete exacerbates flooding problems. We've also had students who are developing lots of different products with alternative materials, or using materials that would normally go to landfill or be burnt, and creating new products from them. So here on the right here, you can see some products, some Undip products that were made by students. This, as you can see, the products were all made using plastic waste. We've worked with you, as I say, over the course of the last 4 years, and more than 1,000 students from your campus have been involved. And quite notably, 5 of those teams pitched in the top 10 finals during our programs. One of the teams, BioBubble, was looking at developing bubble wrap using banana skin material. So repurposing food waste, and they received, I think, $2,500 to continue to research whether that material was a viable option, and went through our 3-month incubation program. In addition to that, we also had 2 teams that received a funding grant and spent some time researching their ideas further. And you can see on our website, and we can send them to you as well, they developed final research papers to show, what the results were from spending time researching their circular ideas. One of them was the Circlists, and they were trying to understand how they could help the campus to manage waste on campus, either by doing things like segregating more effectively. They were also looking at how they could use waste to create other products rather than that waste going to waste. And I believe that they were also collaborating with the Depot Waste Bank project on upcycling, and again, educating students on segregation. So I wanted to show you a slide which was created by BioBubble. This is the team that spent time on our incubation program. And you can see here, this is just one of their slides. They created, as I say, a learning presentation as well. 3 months worth of work. But you can see here the hands-on nature of our program, where they've spent a lot of time trying to create a minimal viable product and either prove or disprove whether using this banana peel could be a better option than plastic bubble wrap. And their idea was, of course, that if it was a better option, then the end of life would mean that bubble wrap would decompose and would become a compost. Yeah. So really, to wrap up, I think what I just wanted to summarize is that effectively what our organization has been doing with your university is bringing the concept of innovation, circular innovation, to your students. Also designing tools and frameworks that make what sometimes seem like complex concepts more easy to understand, but also helping frameworks and support the young innovators with their startups as well. We're trying to empower the next generation in Asia to turn environmental waste challenges into entrepreneurial opportunities. We want to encourage young people to be really thinking about problems that are happening in their locality and also being very purposeful about developing solutions that are actually going to help communities and be adopted by local communities. And not only that, we really want to be able to provide a platform for young students to be able to compete in the region and for people across the region and cross-sectorally in other sectors outside academia to be exposed to the ideas that they're coming up with and to see what's the skills that they're developing through our program and the impact that they can make, particularly once they. So this is just a quote from one of the students. What I enjoyed the most were all the sessions. They were all informative. I learned a lot from them. The sessions made me realize there's still a lot of hope in changing one community or on a larger scale, the world. So as I mentioned, you can see a lot of the learning reports, the research and the ideas that students have developed on our website. Happy to take any questions or wait till the end. But thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present.
Yeah, thank you,
And
Susanna.
I'm sorry about the tech issue.
Very interested, Susanna.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think it's still 7 minutes till the end of your presentations sessions, but however, that is okay. I think I just know about your program in our cities. I just take notes about the program, the specific program about the banana peels waste, and I also interesting about the bio bubble because I think it could be used for the wastewater treatment, like the MBBR. Maybe you know, MBBR is moving bed biofilm reactors that use biobubble as that's good for bacteria. So I think that is a very good opportunity. And also, I just curious about cyclists, but I didn't know what is the specific cyclist. But I think we can discuss later after Prof. Purwanto. And then let's stay in here. Maybe some question will be discussed after 1 hour from now because the next presentation will be rolling and Prof. Purwanto. So thank you, Susanna. And then next we have Rolin Gil Sevilena, also from Circular Cities Asia. Her session is titled Eco-Social Design for Circular Innovations, Bridging Materials, Communities, and Sustainability. In this talk, Rolin will explore how circular design thinking can connect people, materials, and sustainable practices. The floor is.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, so I will not go deep into the material work. I think maybe there was a miscommunication of what I would be speaking about today, but today I will give more of a quick introduction to circular economy, so kind of giving everybody a little taste of how we do our programs and kind of setting the stage of introducing circular economy. And then I'll also talk a bit more about our approach in Circular Cities Asia, more tangibly about the like the toolkit that Susanna mentioned. So yes, I won't go deep into my specific material work, but I'm also happy to answer questions later about that. Okay, so hello everyone again. My name is Rolene Silvillena, and I am from the Philippines. And before we get started, I'll just give a quick introduction about myself. So, as was mentioned earlier, I've been with Circular Cities Asia since 2021, managing the Circular Innovation Learning programs. I've also done work with GIZ's 3R Promar project, specifically for engaging youth and higher education institutions in the Philippines about circular design and innovation. And more recently, I completed my master's in eco-social design, and I am continuing on with my research, which is focused on putting in place localized material systems that prioritize the health of communities and ecosystems. And the context of my project is the Philippines, and a part of that is looking at how we can rethink our processes of materials research and development. And the other part is a materials exploration of native plant species in the Philippines, which is from the Philippines, and thinking different ways and to see its potential to replace problematic materials such as plastics. And since working with Undip, it has been inspiring to also see the students who are interested in materials and these material innovations. So yeah, I'm also happy to answer questions later if people have questions about this also. And yeah, I would say that my interest really lies in this upstream intervention space and how we can think strategically about how we can prevent waste and pollution in the first place. And yeah, I will get back to this notion of upstream innovation later in my talk, but I would like to just start off maybe by sharing a definition of circular economy, since that is the topic of today's webinar. So you will find a lot of definitions of circular economy, but I just wanted to share one in particular that resonates with me. And so a circular economy is an economic system where waste is designed out, everything is used at its highest possible value for as long as possible, and natural systems are regenerated. The concept of circularity closely mimics nature, where there is no waste. All materials have value and are used to sustain life in a myriad of ways. And why I like this definition is because it highlights that in the natural world, the concept of waste doesn't exist, because species and ecosystems have evolved and adapted to live within planetary boundaries and ecological limits. And so it's also important for us to acknowledge that as humans, we also live in these same planetary boundaries and ecological limits. So really for this transition towards circular economy, it requires a mindset shift of how we can do things in a way to ensure that people and other life on the planet can continue to survive and be healthy. Because as you all probably know, there are many challenges that we are trying to deal with locally and globally. The status quo of economic activities that happen today is often referred to as linear, where we are taking raw materials from the earth, we make stuff, we use that stuff for a short while, and then we throw it away, where it often ends up getting incinerated, it goes to landfill, or it ends up in the environment. And the waste and pollution from these activities affect species, ecosystems, and communities. And the impacts of these linear systems are getting harder to ignore. And we see and experience these impacts all the way from coral reefs and all the way up to the mountains. We see it in communities and ecosystems. And these matters are particularly urgent for island nations in Southeast Asia, such as Indonesia. And it's because there is this more intimate land to sea connection, and these challenges are highly visible and pervasive. So as these waste, pollution, and resource challenges continue to grow and really overwhelm island nations, there are these alternative ways that are being proposed. And so one of those ways is the circular economy, and it's being viewed as this promising way forward. And there are many different pieces to consider when we talk about circular economy. And one aspect is to reduce our use of virgin raw materials and non-renewable resources. Also, this notion of separating biological and technical materials to ensure that things are cycling appropriately. Also, preventing waste pollution and their negative effects. Also, this notion of value and us valuing materials and resources so that they're actually being recovered and continually used for as long as possible. And also ensuring that ecosystems and communities are healthy and have these regenerative capacities. So, sorry, one sec. And to summarize these different aspects, the concept of a circular economy is often referred to with these three principles, which you might have heard of. So first is to eliminate waste and pollution, circulate products and materials at their highest value, and regenerate nature. But since this is a big shift from how economies, governments, and businesses operate today, we know that the change will not come easy. So even for countries such as those in Europe that have been further ahead on circular economy transition, there are still a lot of gaps and missing links to be able to close these loops and make circularity mainstream. And we also see this in Southeast Asia, where there are a lot of challenges and gaps, such as the insufficient infrastructure, policies, and enforcement to actually enable large scale shifts. We also have this continued reliance on fossil fuels, which are inexpensive and readily available through globalized trade. Convenience and disposability are still the norm, which makes waste management very difficult. There's also an overall lack of life cycle thinking to be able to understand the impacts of activities on various stakeholders. And lastly, circularity and its benefits are not common knowledge, and it's really not widely taught in our education systems. But instead of just focusing on these challenges, I want to talk more about how we can look at these gaps as opportunities. And if there's just one thing that you take away from my talk today, I would say that it would be this point that in order to make circular transitions a reality, we need collaboration, which is something that Susanna hinted at earlier. But I want to dig a little bit more deeper in this and really just emphasize that in order for systemic change to happen, we really do need work across disciplines and sectors, and we're already doing circular economy related work or are interested to do this in the future. And so I just want to highlight the importance of this and also the importance of understanding who are the key stakeholders that you need to engage with. So in this part, I'll just share a bit about the key stakeholders in the circular economy landscape, uh, specifically in Southeast Asia. So first is government and policymakers. It's really great that we're seeing more circular economy related policies being enacted, which really helps with the circular economy transition from the top down and from local and national levels. And I think ASEAN is also really great at spearheading these regional initiatives. And then we're also seeing these international efforts from the United Nations. And I think it's not only important to understand the policy landscape, uh, like where we live, but it's also important to see that there is this increasing pressure also from the bottom up to create new policies and regulations, and also this push to have implementation be carried out effectively. And so this brings me to civil society organizations, which they also play a key role because they are often the implementing partners with governments for circular economy initiatives. And they also work with communities on the ground. So some key players, especially in Southeast Asia, are UNDP, also GIZ, and WWF. So they not only do like hands-on work, but they also write policy briefs, research reports, and publications about circular economy transition in countries across Southeast Asia. And next are communities, because it's really important to engage with the people who are affected by waste and pollution. And it's also people who are actually on the ground dealing with waste and pollution. So in countries such as Indonesia, the people working in the informal waste sector are also key stakeholders to engage. Um, and so I think it's great that there is this growing awareness of the informal waste sector and how much of a key player they are and how they need to be brought to the table when we're thinking about how can we transition circular economy on a larger scale. And so academia is also an important stakeholder for circular economy and transition in Southeast Asia, because over the years, we have been seeing that there is this growing interest among universities and colleges to teach circular economy content to their students. There are also more circular economy related research projects that are being carried out. In the region, there are also more incubators that focus on growing startups that have a sustainability focus. And universities are also putting in place school-wide policies and leading initiatives to deal with waste on their campuses. And of course, in the circular economy landscape, there are a lot of enterprises which play a key role. And these range from enterprises that have more low-tech interventions all the way to high-tech digital interventions. And something I would like to emphasize here is that there are a lot of circular practices and enterprises that have existed in Southeast Asia even before the term circular economy was adopted. And so these traditional practices play a key role. They still exist today, and there are opportunities to leverage or adapt them to bring about circularity on a wider scale. So it's instead of thinking that, oh, we need to make people aware of this new concept of circularity, a part of it is also to bring it back to something that people can understand or maybe remember from what used to be practiced more often. So, for example, vernacular architecture, we still see a lot of that, a lot of architecture that's made with natural plant materials that are locally available, such as bamboo structures. Packaging has also been circular, so the use of leaves and other plants for packaging, or also reusable glass bottles for drinks. And also keeping things for as long as possible is also considered a circular practice. So people either repair items themselves or go to repair shops to extend the life of their products. And of course, there's also room in the circular economy landscape for more technological circular innovation. So we're also seeing this increase in companies who are focusing on recycling technologies or material innovation, and also more like smart waste management. And so enterprises are really a key stakeholder in circular economy transitions because they do have this, they have these opportunities to bring circular innovations and technologies into the wider market. And enterprises can also put circular economy principles into practice in their business models and activities. And they can also support the implementation of circular economy related policies. And they play this strategic role to bridge some of these gaps, to close loops, and to address a lot of these challenges that we have. And so there is this opportunity to look at the upstream and also the downstream in order to make circular economy a reality. So, like I mentioned earlier, we can take action on the upstream in terms of rethinking and redesigning our material systems, also ways of processing or business models. And enterprises can also take action on the downstream to better manage the waste and pollution that currently exists and is being generated. So as Susanna mentioned earlier, we decided to make this the focus of our work at Circular Cities Asia. So working with youth, working with academia, and to support them in building up circular enterprises and initiatives, because we see these avenues as a strategic way to accelerate circular economy transitions. So through our programs, we've taken youth through circular innovation journey that we've laid out in the toolkit. And our intention is not to just bring awareness about the concept of circular economy, but also to put the theory and principles into practice. And now I'll just build upon what Susanna mentioned earlier about our methodology of how we've built our toolkit and how we have been teaching people about how can they be part of this transition towards circular economy. So one aspect of our methodology is design thinking, because we think that circular innovations should be approached in stages. So first stage, thinking about the problems that are actually worth solving and really understanding the needs of the people and also the needs of ecosystems and other species. The second is about developing ideas to address the problems and then also starting to prototype the solutions. And something else that we like to highlight is that the design and innovation process is non-linear, meaning you can always go back to previous stages of the process and iterate when you need to. Next, of course, are circular economy principles. And this, I would say, is what differentiates our innovation process from others, is that we are focused on innovating in a way that actually helps with circular economy transition and really looking at it from a circular lens. And since our methodology is centered on finding solutions to real world problems, we really push for a systems approach to problem solving, which also includes life cycle thinking. And with the systems approach, we want people to start to really unpack the complexity of the problems and see them as part of a whole system and see how
Aku
they
mau yang
interconnect
photogenic.
with other systems.
Apa?
And
Besok photogenic.
another key framework that we've integrated is lean innovation. So this lean approach is about using our resources wisely. So not just in terms of raw materials and resources we use to make products, but also the effort and time we spend bringing solutions to life. So what we want to avoid is people wasting all of their effort and resources to create, these fully polished solutions that don't actually solve a problem. So instead, we want people to take this validated learning approach, which means that they're continuously testing their assumptions and also learning from the people that they're trying to create solutions with and also for. And so we really encourage the youth that we work with to actually go out and talk to people, visit local sites, and figure out what are the real problems that need to be solved. And then once they've validated this, they'll start experimenting to figure out what solutions can actually effectively solve these problems. And yeah, so in a nutshell, that's how we have approached circular innovation. And to help people go through this process, we made a toolkit that is publicly available on our website. And the toolkit is what we use for all of our programs. And it's divided into these two parts. It specifically focuses on problem discovery and also ideating solutions. And in a nutshell, the problem phase is about exploring a number of different problems. So at first, it's much more exploratory, and then later on, the students narrow down which problem is really worth solving within their local context. And then from there we ask them to really map out the system or the life cycle of the problematic product, a service or system that they've identified in order to really understand, okay, what are the activities involved, who are the key stakeholders, and what is the waste or pollution that's being generated. And then we have practical tools that we ask the students to construct a problem statement and a value hypothesis that they'll use as their starting point, and then they'll go out and validate the problems. And so for each section of the toolkit, we have a practical worksheet or activity for people to work through, and then we have these additional resources. So it's really a step-by-step it's laid out in a step-by-step way, but again, it's very iterative. So the students have these different tools that they can use and they can go between the different resources and tools that we have for them. And after the problem phase of the toolkit, the next part is the ideation part. So this part of the toolkit really helps people to conceptualize circular solutions. And the first part of it is to help students really build their circular mindset. So we want them to get inspired by different circular design strategies and also learn about initiatives and existing businesses that are using these strategies. And then we invite them to start generating as many ideas as they can for how they might solve the problem that they're focusing on. And then after that, they narrow down which circle idea they'd like to develop further. So it's really thinking about what is actually fit for their local context and also yes, getting validation from different stakeholders. And then also in the toolkit, we have a business model canvas for them to map out how their idea could be financially sustainable. But also we don't limit the students to only think about business models, but also encourage them to look at different financial models that might be suitable depending on what kind of circular solutions they come up with. So I think this is a really key part of our our toolkit, our programs uh, is for us to get students to think about, okay, how can we actually make this an initiative or a venture that can last, and how can we um, have the finances to be able to continue on with this work? And I think this is a big conversation, the financing piece of circular economy innovation. And so this is something that we want people to think about when they are thinking about like implementation, or how can they make these ideas actually come to life and um, yeah, continue on for the long term. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the toolkit is publicly available on the Circular Cities Asia website. And there are also videos that we have so people can watch and understand better what the different tools and worksheets are, and how they can use them effectively. And yeah, so even though we have them publicly available, we do also really enjoy doing the programs that we do, because we're able to, yeah, get to know students and help them work through their ideas as well. But to conclude, our goal at Circular Cities Asia has really been to put circular economy principles and theory into practice. We want to encourage people to approach innovation with a circular lens and to find interventions to real and pressing challenges that exist in their local context. And stakeholder engagement and collaboration are foundational pieces in this, because in order to have these large scale changes, we really need to approach it in a systemic way. And even though all of the waste and pollution challenges we're facing can feel overwhelming, I believe that together we can accelerate circular economy transitions by really zooming in on our local context and implementing circular innovations that are actually fit for these contexts. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Thank you everyone for listening. It was a lot for a short amount of time, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, thank you, Rolin, for your insightful approach. I think it's still 2 minutes till the end. Yeah. I will summarize some discussions. First, I think it is my from my insights about the linear systems, still big problems, and I think hard to ignore, and I think that's true. Then about the second is collaboration is key, and it is very correct, because policy, we still not have the we still haven't like the Indonesian national standard, or we can say SNI, Standard National Indonesia, about the circular economy. I think because I read the ISO 56,000 series, I think, about the circular economy. However, we still ongoing with the Bapenas. Bapenas is the National Development Institution program. So they have the 9R paradigm about the circular economy, 9R. But I only remember 3R, reduce, recycle, and reuse. And about who is who ready or not, I think policy is not ready. I think for it's only Babanas regulation. But however, the SNI or Indonesian National Standard is not ready. Also, the SNI ISO. And then second is communities. I think is very ready to develop. Enterprise, okay. Civil society, okay. Academe is okay. And then your approach about the collaboration between academe and enterprise, I think is very true. And then about the toolkit, I think if any uh, any opportunity in the near future, maybe we have the workshop webinar how to use the toolkit, because maybe some question how to use the toolkit, is it difficult to use it, because if we implement like the life cycle assessment, I think there is the software is not easy to use. Not every people can use it. I think that is my overview about your presentation today. And secondly, I have a mistake for your presentation's title. I'm sorry. So your presentation title today is Introduction of Circular Economy and its relevance in the Southeast Asia region. I'm sorry for my mistakes. And then there is a question also for Susanna and Rolin. Please keep stay here for 30 minutes next ahead. So for the questions, I think from Mr. Huber, but please stay. Uh, and then we keep moving to the third presenter by Professor Purwanto. Hello, Professor Purwanto. Are you ready?
Hello.
Okay. Yeah.
Good morning, Dr. Gajar.
Good morning, Prof. Purwanto. So,
Okay.
Prof. Purwanto will present entitled Circular Economy Meets Green Industry, Strengthening Business Models Through Environmental and Sustainability Innovation. I think time is yours, Prof. Purwanto.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Gajar, ladies and gentlemen, and all of the webinar participants today. I would like to talk about circular economy and the relation with green industry as well as sustainability. Okay. So my presentation consists of industry and environment, and then green industry and sustainability, green industry development, industrial circular economy for green process development, and green competencies. If we talk about the industry use raw materials and also the other materials, water, energy, and other resources to make a product, some of a byproduct, and also the industry emit gas and also heat and particulate, as well as also wastewater, solid waste, and hazardous waste. And the key issues about industry and environment, and that is that industrial activities use of natural resources for production, unsustainable extraction and consumption of resources in the long-term availability, leading to depletion for both in the present and future generations. And also the dependence of fossil fuel for energy production contribute significantly to climate change and air pollution. Industrial processes also generate large amount of waste including hazardous waste, with a major source of pollution, and also the impact for human health, environment, and infrastructure. Utilization of fossil energy. At the moment, the extraction and use of fossil fuels pollute air and water, and also the major investment in fossil fuel infrastructure, risk locking in high carbon emission, and also burning fossil fuel such as coal, oil, and natural gas contribute significantly to CO2 emission, and this is a primary cause of global warming. Ongoing dependence on fossil fuels delay the transition to cleaner and renewable energy that is essential for reaching net zero emission. Indonesia also, for net zero emission, this is net zero emission issues that the limit on the increase in maximum temperature by 1.5 centigrade is used as a guideline towards net zero emission by 2050 and Indonesia by 2060 by significantly reducing the use of fossil fuel. How about the green industry and sustainability? If we talk the sustainable development, this is the concept of sustainable by Brundtland Commission report in 1987, that is sustainable development is the development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. There are 4 dimensions to sustainable development: society, environment, culture, and economy, which are intertwined, not separate. Sustainability also is a paradigm for thinking about the future in which environment, social, and economic considerations are balanced in the pursuit of an improved quality of life. The pillars of sustainable development, sometimes we call about 3E or 3P, that is economy, environment, and social community. 3P, this is a triple bottom line: profit, planet, and people. And this is the 17 sustainable development goals. And how about the development of Industry 4.0 and also Industry 5.0, in relation with sustainability and also green industry? Changing the vision of the industry, which was originally oriented towards efficiency and productivity, that is the main of Industry 4.0, to be expanded by strengthening the role and the contribution to the society. Industry 5.0 also placing the welfare of workers at the center of the production process and use new technologies to provide prosperity, not just jobs and growth, and accommodate the production limit of the planet. Industry 5.0 complements the Industry 4.0 approach that specify places research and innovation in the service of transitioning to industries that are sustainable, people-centered, and resilient. This is sustainable industry. It means sustainability implementing to the industry. And if we talk about sustainable industry 4.0, that is the industry developed from industry 4.0, taking into account the aspect of sustainable development. This is a new approach of sustainable industry as well as sustainable business, sustainable production, and sustainable enterprise with intelligent innovation, such as smart factory and smart production. There are some cluster of current area of interest for scientists in the field of sustainable industry 4.0, such as big data, automation, smart production, and then sustainable service design, sustainability, process of safety, renewable energy, green and smart material, smart urban planning, smart cities, smart transportation, as well as circular economy. And then how about the green industry development? Green industry, by the definition, is that industry pursue sustainable production and consumption patterns, considering elements such as resource and energy efficiency, low carbon and waste emission, and non-polluting and safe industry through life cycle management. This is the regulation in Indonesia by the regulation number 3 in year 2014 about industry. And we developed the green industry tools consists of first is green chemistry, and then green engineering, cleaner production, eco-efficiency or resource efficiency, industrial ecology, circular economy, and the basic is industry 4.0 and industry 5.0. Talking about green chemistry, that is the implementation of green chemistry for the development of green industrial chemistry. Green chemistry is the design of chemical products and processes that reduce or eliminate the use or generation of hazardous substances. Green chemistry applies across the life cycle of a chemical product, including its design, manufacture, use, and ultimate disposal. The 12 principles of green chemistry developed by Anastas and Warner in the book of Green Chemistry Theory and Practices. From prevention of waste to inherently safer chemistry for accident prevention. Green engineering also developed by Zimmerman. This is the implementation of 12 principles of green engineering and the relation of green chemistry. From the principle number 1 is inherent rather than circumstantial. Number 2, prevention instead of treatment. And also number 11, design for commercial afterlife. And also number 12, renewable rather than depleting. And then the principle of industrial ecology. The traditional model of industry activity that the production process of processing raw materials to produce products and generating and then manage waste is transformed into a more integrated model, the industrial ecosystem. Energy and material consumption is optimized, waste generation is minimized, and waste from one process is utilized as raw material for another. That is turning waste into raw material, shifting from linear economy to circular economy. That is from the linear economy approach, take, make, use, and disposal. If we implement the reuse, repair, remaking, and recycling approach that can support the transition from a linear to circular economy. The circular economy that is use the concept of biological cycles in nature applied to industry. That is developed and promoted by Alan MacArthur Foundation. That is about a butterfly. Yeah. The life site is biological cycles, and then implementation of biomimicry. Right side is implementation on the industry. Some of a principle of circular economy, yeah, from zero waste, and then biological and technical cycles, design for the future, sustainable energy, consumers should be reimagined as users, regenerating natural system, and also preserve what's already made. And if we talk about circular economy, that is not only 3R or 5R. Actually, at the moment, the strategies is 9R, including zero, that is 10R. From reuse, rethink, reduce, that implement on the design phases, that is most sustainable. And after that is reuse, repair, refurbish, remanufacture, and repurpose. Yeah. That is implement on consumption phases and preserve and extend life of products. And then in the face of end of life, that is recycle and recover. So the most sustainable for circular economy is refuse, reduce, and reuse. How about the industrial circular economy? This is the example circular economy for plastic from the virgin feedstock and then the production of plastic raw materials, the intermediate product, and then conversion to plastic product and parts. And the next is the consumption of product containing plastic. If we implement circular economy, that is reuse and repair. And after use, from the waste collection, and then sorting, recycling, and then recycle of used plastic as a new product or raw material. This is that the circular economy for the plastic is closing the circular economy loop, can boost the industry's competitiveness and address climate change issues. In the context of plastic production and conversion, that means that plastic never become waste. That is the essential of circular economy approach. Some of example that like Adidas makes shoes of recycled ocean plastic, textile and clothing from recycled plastic. And the others, this is the implementation of circular economy in Indonesia, in Central Java. The metal scrap foundry, this is industry of metal scrap in Klaten Regency, Central Java, Indonesia. The utilization of metal waste to make a new product and develop of a new technology. Replacing the traditional, that is the left side is a traditional tungkek furnace with a cupola furnace. So the benefit is environmental, economic, and social, such as utilization of waste to create product, reduce costs as energy, and we obtain better product quality and also reduce production costs and safer industry. The other of implementation of circular economy, that is production of fish meal in Rembang Regency, Central Java Province, Indonesia. That is use of fish to create a new product. Fish waste as a raw material for making fish meal. That is used as raw material for chicken feed. And the benefit is utilization of waste to create new product, creation of new industry, and also creation of new jobs. And the others of implementation circular economy for green industry is the utilization of any kind of organic waste to produce biogas by anaerobic digestion. That is that anaerobic digestion system convert organic waste into biogas, which can be used for electricity, heat, vehicle fuel, or injected into the natural gas grids. Digestate, a byproduct, can serve as a biofertilizer or animal bedding, among other uses. And we develop also the circular economy for agro-industrial symbiosis development in Sukaharjo Regency, Central Java Province, Indonesia. That is the main industry is a tofu production that use soybean and solid waste used for cattle farm, some of wastewater to produce biogas, and then we develop also catfish farming, and the sludge is composting and used as grass plant, and also used as fertilizer of soybean farming. That is that we can develop circular economy for green agro-industrial symbiosis. How about circular economy for green process development? If we talk about the technology development, this is the implementation of a cleaner production, circular economy, green chemistry, and green industry, and also sustainability. The basic is cleaner production, all 5R, from rethink or redesign, reduction, reuse, recycling, and recovery. And then from 5R, yeah, expanded to 10R or 9R, implement from feedstock extraction, yeah, to get raw material for industrial uses, and then this raw material is used for production process and manufacturing to create some products, and then use as a service, and all of this is use of 12 principle of green chemistry. The circular economy also can develop and implement in some industrial processes such as chemical, pharmaceutical, agro, to use renewable raw materials and utilize waste as raw materials. The benefit is the improvement of eco-friendly lifestyle by using green product, and some of implementation in the biochemical industry, yeah, and also some other industry. And then in the industrial part, that is incorporating industrial symbiosis, circular approach, and green industry. Yeah. Some of eco-industrial park development also implement in Indonesia, and that is the example of industrial symbiosis to develop eco-industrial park in Kallenberg. That is all of raw materials, all of waste and energy, yeah, could be used in the industrial park. Kallenberg's industrial symbiosis has been going on for 6 decades. The principle is cooperation based on mutually beneficial business aspect. And then talking about CO2 emission, we can also develop carbon capture, utilization, and storage. That's capturing CO2 from gas emission by way of spiration and purification. And then utilization of CO2 emission as a raw material for the manufacturing of useful products. And some of CO2 that we cannot use as raw material, and then storing CO2 underground and offshore. At the moment also, facing on climate change and clean energy, we can develop hydrogen as clean energy. That is, the hydrogen energy is used as energy as well as raw material. That is, the cycle is circular. We can produce hydrogen, and then the combustion of hydrogen, the product is water vapor, and we can separate by electrolysis to produce hydrogen and also oxygen. So by this approach, hydrogen as clean energy is use the technology for circularity. And at the moment, in the chemical industry, for the circularity, yeah, we use also, yeah, not only from the fossil. This is the example of circular economy, yeah, to develop the ammonia production process, not from use of natural gas, but use air and water to produce ammonia. The green process, ammonia process, consists of two main subsystems, namely the gas subsystem that supplies nitrogen and hydrogen, and the ammonia synthesis system consisting of the well-known Haber-Bosch reactor. The green ammonia options, that is we call power to ammonia, is the most commercially available with a technological readiness level of 8 to 9. And then the circularity also, the next example is power to methanol process using CO2 emission as raw materials. Power to methanol process with E-hydrogen supplied by water electrolysis and CO2 by direct air capture or industrial emission sources. The catalyst for a methanol synthesis reactor is based on copper, zinc, and also alumina. And then related to higher education, how to develop green competency in higher education. The green competence is very important. As state that 41% of young people in Europe think the education system does not provide adequate tools to understand climate change, environmental challenges, and more sustainable ways of acting. That is, promoting sustainability and green competencies through education and training is essential to realize the green transition. The competencies are designed to develop knowledge, skill, and attitudes that encourage sustainable thinking, planning, and action. This is the conceptual model of green competencies based on natural green competencies and acquired green competencies. The result is effective green competencies incorporated with willing movement, and the result is green performance. And how about sustainable competencies for the student? There are some green competencies such as knowledge, skill, abilities, attitude, behavior, and awareness. Embodying sustainability values means valuing sustainability, supporting justice, and promoting nature. And then blending complexity in sustainability, it means consists of systems thinking, critical thinking, and framing problems. And then thinking about a sustainable future, such as future literacy, adaptability, and exploratory thinking, and acting for sustainability, including political institutions, collective action, and individual initiative. And then we develop from a Green Technology Research Center, yeah, about competencies to support green industry. Yeah. From Green Job Task Force 2021, that we need the development and the basic of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and then digital and data skills, project management skills, education, communication, and change management skills, leadership, management, and communication skill. And for higher education, yeah, we need the competencies for the student, that is the competencies of sustainability and environment, energy and renewable energy, climate change, green technology, eco-technology, clean technology, eco-efficiency, green engineering, as well as green chemistry, green economy, circular economy, air pollution control, and industrial 4.0 and 5.0. And for the closing, we need the collaborative research and development as well as implementation between higher education institution, society, and also industry in terms of green industry processes, product and system, energy efficiency, and renewable energy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Yeah.
Prof. Purwanto. Systematic, comprehensive presentations today in circular economy. I would like to overview the presentation of by Prof. Purwanto. Maybe the implementation in University of Negoro. We have implement 9R, but maybe 3 or 6R. First R is R0, means reviews, because we have the intermediate facility, Southwest management facilities, or we call in Indonesia TPST. And then about the rating, we have many socialization approach, community development approach, and reduce. We still trying for every department in University of Negoro. And also, second, Prof. Purwanto talk about the 9R. A part of 9R about replacement of technology from traditional tungki furnace to cupola furnace. I think that is very interesting. The interesting parts. And then the other examples about, that I know is about the Kallenborg's industrial symbiosis, but this is a part of industry. We taught in higher education, like in Undip. I think it's clearly simple to discuss today with Prof. Purwanto. But now this time is the discussion session. Hello, Susanna. Susan? Yeah,
Hi.
Susan and Roland. Yeah, hi. We have two questions of you from Mr. Hubert. But before that, maybe also for Prof. Purwanto. Firstly, for Susanna. So the first question is, since the goal is how circular economy to innovation, the question is how to synergize with the industry under the entrepreneurial orientation. That is the first questions. And then the second question is how to apply the green entrepreneurial orientation in your circular economy model in university. Thank you. Maybe
Yeah.
first, opportunity to Susanna.
So if I understand the question correctly, I think one of my views on the first part of the question is being the greatest opportunity is to get industry to actually set challenges for students to apply entrepreneurial thought process and research to. That would be one key way to synergize and connect industry with entrepreneurs is to use the entrepreneurial thinking and the lean innovation thinking that startups and entrepreneurs apply to problems, and have industry set those challenges, and see how entrepreneurs can help them. And that seems to be something that is being done widely amongst industry now. There are lots of big industry coalitions as well who run big accelerators, and set challenges that they haven't yet been able to solve for themselves within their sort of large industry mechanisms, and they set those challenges for startups and entrepreneurs, and they help startups and entrepreneurs to trial their ideas within their ecosystems. So I would say that could work as well with universities. And again, there's lots of industry organizations that come to universities and set challenges for students to work on. And then secondly, regarding applying the green entrepreneurial orientation model in the university, I'm not sure if I've understood the question completely, but something that we are working with DESI on is this Train the Trainer program, which today's webinar is a part of the launch, so that more professionals within your university are familiar with our frameworks, and it can be embedded into your circular economy hub that has been successfully growing over the last few years.
Yeah, thank you, Susanna, for your explanations. Maybe for the second speaker, Rolin, if there are any explanation, other explanation from Susanna, maybe later. And then for Rolin, so first question is discussing regarding circular economy under enterprise ecosystem, which consists of reuse, reveal, digitalization, etc. Then the question are how to synergize those ecosystem, in particular upon the emerging of AI era. That is the first questions. And then the second question is how to apply the green entrepreneurial orientation and green innovation to apply circular economy to achieve company performance. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. I think I'll start with the second question. So in terms of the question talks about achieving company performance. So I think a big thing here is for companies to rethink their definition of performance. So to look beyond financial performance, and to look at other indicators. So in sustainability reporting, there is this concept of double materiality. So this is where companies not only look at their financial performance, but also their performance in terms of the environmental, social, and governance aspects of their business, so ESG. And so an important piece of this is companies need to understand what are their most pressing environmental, social, and governance issues. And then from there, they prioritize and strategize, what actions to take or what initiatives they're going to do. And like Susanna mentioned, there's already this like kind of innovation, design thinking mindset that companies do have, and there are these opportunities for to shift, the innovation and design thinking processes to have this circular lens. And so I think, yeah, I guess to have the students who come out of university and who are going to work in these companies, I think it's a interesting skill for them to build in their universities and to bring that. But I think there is this growing awareness already about circularity and sustainability. So I think there just needs to be these champions in these companies to really push for this notion of double materiality. So the performance of not only financial, but then also looking at ESG. And for the first question, I think I need clarification to know if the question is asking like how do we synergize low tech
Yeah,
circular initiatives with digital technologies, or
yeah,
is the question more about like how do we synergize these different initiatives uh, of circular economy enterprises of a particular place? So
yeah.
I'm not sure
I think the
if,
first question is
yeah.
about the enterprise ecosystems synergized to those ecosystem in particular upon the emerging of, I think, the digitalization era, meaning AI, artificial intelligence. So how about that, Roland?
Um,
Yeah, yeah. The
okay,
enterprise
yeah. So I
ecosystem,
think,
yeah, the enterprise ecosystem consisting of reuse, reveal, I think, and then also the digitalization and etc. And I think that is the ecosystem of the enterprise nowadays.
mhm.
And then uh, how about the correlation maybe or the synergize with the emerging of AI era? I think. I think that is the first
Mhm.
question. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. 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 Please.
okay, so maybe
Mm,
I think about it
mm,
is so we're seeing a lot of different uh like initiatives or enterprises that might be popping up in a particular place. And yeah, I think there is a gap of we're not like even in a particular place, these enterprises might not know about each other, or even though that they can facilitate um, each other's processes or to really, yeah, collaborate with each other, there is a gap there um, in terms of, yeah, I think there needs to be, um, I don't know, something that that people are building these networks among enterprises or um, to build up these communities where they know each other. In terms of AI, I would, um, I, I'm not sure. I would say that I think I probably have a hard time answering this question because I am more
okay.
of a skeptic on AI and
Yeah.
how uh, how it can actually facilitate circular economy transition. I see that there are
Mm,
certain tools that can help and they're being used, but relying on it to really push it forward. Yeah, I would. I don't have a clear answer, or I don't think I can speak to it,
yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think we need to be cautious about uh, how much we rely on it to move forward, like certain circular economy initiatives.
Yeah. 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 Thank you very much for your answer to those questions. And then I would like to give the opportunity for the raise hand, I think, from Budesi. Please, Budesi,
Yeah.
before moving to the question for Prof. Purwanto. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Just a quick comments that mentions thank you, Susan and Rolin, and also Prof. Purwanto. Um, because this webinars we can like trying to again mainstreaming the circular economy in Undip particularly. So just give you some update that now we already have we call Undip Circular Campus Studio. I mentioned it several times to Rolin and also Suzanne. It already like 2 years old now, and we already managed to invite almost 150 students to actually using the facilities there in the waste treatment facilities, but more actually working on the downstreaming processes of the waste in particular, not in the mainstream, not mainstream, like the upper streams that Rolin has mentioned, uh, the convenience and disposability, which are norm, as you mentioned, and also the status quo of the economic activity. So I'm trying to elaborate or asking your opinion, maybe all the speakers, on how difficult, if like we, like focusing more on the upper stream of the all the waste problem that we have, like more on the, the system thinking of people and how to actually reducing it, removing the norms of convenience and disposable that we already like comfort me myself. I feel like really comfortable in the way that we live now, and is how difficult it will be if we going to the trying to um, um, challenging the those issues. I think that's all my questions. Thank you. I mean, it's better that we have like the perspective of the three speakers. Thank you.
Yeah. Please maybe Rolin or Susan.
Thanks,
If you,
Desi.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really difficult to answer the question because I understand what you mean. Like we all have a very convenient lifestyle now, right? And then we have, Uber Eats and Grab and all these things where we can just get all our food in a package.
Yeah, that's true.
There was one, so I actually work for a circular economy startup. We're called the Better Packaging Co. One of our hero products is to make e-commerce packaging from plastic that has been abandoned, and most of the plastic that's been abandoned is bound for the ocean. So the definition of ocean-bound plastic is that it must be abandoned waste. It needs to be in a location that doesn't have any formal waste management infrastructure, and it will be in a location that is within 50 meters of a waterway, so either a river or a lake or the ocean or a beach. And most of the ocean-bound plastic that is collected for the packaging that we make is collected in Indonesia. And many people say that it's not necessarily an answer to recycling's not an answer to environmental issues, and we can't kind of recycle our way out. And also, it's better to have other materials for packaging. But the problem is that we can't ignore the fact that there is tons and tons and tons of abandoned plastic waste. So yes, this isn't the only solution, and there are other solutions, but we still have to do something with the abandoned waste that is currently polluting our environment and making life for a lot of people extremely unhealthy. And so one of the projects that we work on is in the areas that we work with local communities to collect the abandoned plastic. We are also working with community groups that are implementing a waste management infrastructure, with the idea that once the pollution has been cleared, which we then cycle and use for our product, it shouldn't be replaced at the magnitude to which it originally appeared, because a waste management infrastructure is also being implemented. So it is important that that there has to be recycling, because there is so much abandoned waste. Something has to happen to it, and there isn't enough landfills, and it does become abandoned. But we also then need to work out, are there ways that once we clear and recycle materials, how can we implement infrastructure that will meet the needs to ensure that that waste doesn't become abandoned again.
Mm.
And then how do we also create, like you say, human-centered principles that actually change the way people think about what
Yeah.
they're also doing with materials? So I think it does have to be a multifaceted approach. People are right, recycling isn't the only answer, but it does have to be one of the answers. And then once you have, but you can't, the other reason why, for me, recycling is part of the solution is because if we recycle what's been abandoned, it will reduce the amount of plastic that we're making from virgin materials, which then reduces the amount of carbon that we're.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
so there are many factors involved, and yes, there is these circular initiatives, but underpinning that, I agree with you with that this is where professionals like Rolling come in, because people who are actually thinking about materials, who are thinking about human-centered design, who are thinking about human behaviors and how we use materials, is also really important. Yeah. So I think, just in closing on that, this is one of the biggest issues when it comes to the environment is how do you get everybody working together
Yeah.
for the larger solution and not people working in silos just on their own solution, because it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Is that clear, Bu Desi?
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Maybe I give one opportunity for the raise hand also from Bu Irma Tilhaka Jateng. Maybe the question could be addressed to Prof. Purwanto, I think. But please, Bu Irma. Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Question to Susanna and Namu.
Yeah.
Prof.
Bu,
Purwanto.
Bu Irma.
Okay.
Your voice is very low. Can you?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me? Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. My question to Suzanne and Rolin and also Prof. Purwanto. The topic of the webinar is very interesting. Thank you for your presentation. And when we talk about campus as a living lab for circular innovation, I think, I hope Diponegoro University will be the first campus in Central Java to become circular campus. And my question is how to synergize between academia and industry, especially in Central Java that have a lot of industrial area with many problem of plastic waste and marine litter. We know that Semarang City has the biggest population in Central Java, so the waste problem also the biggest one. What the requirement to become circular city? And my last question is how to implementation the green environmental organization in your circular economy model in our government regulation. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Irma. Susan, Rolin, Prof. Purwanto, can you? Yeah. Maybe
Okay,
first to Prof.
Dr.
Purwanto
Gajar
to
and also Bu Irma. Yeah, in our society, if we talk about circular economy, circularities, many people focus on reuse and recycle. So it is more important to shifting from talking about reuse recycle to the how to prevent generation of waste, how to refuse some of kind of material that generate the waste. This is very important. If we talk about domestic waste, our approach is always reduce reuse, and recycle. We don't talk about refuse. We don't talk about rethink. It means how to prevent the generation of waste in daily activity if we need the water. Yeah. So we serve with water in the bottle, in the plastic bottle. It means that we generate the plastic waste. How to shifting to refuse and to prevent the generation of plastic waste in the meeting. For example, we can use glass or our own bottle that we can reuse and refill again and again without generate the plastic waste. That is our daily activity that we can develop in the campus. And I think that from the researcher, we can quantify how many plastic bottle generate every day in our campus. And then how to reduce, and if it is possible, how to prevent the generation of our plastic from water bottle from mineral water. We generate many plastic bottle. So shifting also from 3R, not only 3R. Circular economy is a minimum 5R. Rethink, reduce, recycle, reclaim and recovery. 9R plus 0R. That is from the beginning how to prevent our way of thinking to prevent the generation the waste. That is our comment from Dr. Desi and also Bu Irma. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Purwanto. So how about Susan and Rollins? Can you catch the question from Bu Irma? Yeah. So maybe the first question from Bu Irma is, I think there are a lot of industries in Central Java. So how to synergize between enterprise and academia as well regarding the circular economy.
Okay. Maybe Dr. Gajar, I can explain that's for the first question.
Yeah.
We
Please,
have
Prof.
many experience about the role of academia from the university. That is the collaboration with the industry. That is that I talk about how to develop and how to create a new product from metal scrap in Ceper, Klaten. That is the role model, the relation between the university and industry and also the Ministry of Industry. Secondly, also how to develop a fish meal from waste of a fish. That is in Rembang. That is the form of collaboration between university, industry, create a new product, and also the Regency of Rembang. And also the collaboration between university and also the industry to develop agro-industry symbiosis. This is the example of circular cattle farm and also tofu industry, agriculture, how to create circularity. And we can develop for the other type of industry between the university, industry in the one side, and also the government, regency, province, and also Ministry of Industry, as well as Ministry of Environment, and also Bappenas. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Purwanto. I think that is the answer all for Bu Irma. Yeah, because the time is limit now. Indonesia now 12:30 p.m. So I think this is the end of our discussions because 30 minutes more, 5 minutes, yeah, I think. So thank you, Susanna Pomeroy, Rolin Gil Sevilena, and Prof. Purwanto for the insightful presentation, systematic, comprehensive presentation. So as we conclude to this webinar, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to all our speakers. And then thank you also to our rector and the SDG Center of Undip for making this event possible. We hope this session has inspired you with new ideas, innovations, and collaborations in support of a circular and sustainable future. Let us continue to act boldly and collaboratively toward the achievement of the SDGs. Thank you all for the attending. Stay safe and see you at our next Sustainability Talks events. I will move to the host, I think the MC, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to moderator and all the speakers for being able to take part in sharing your expertise. Now we kindly invite Secretary of SDG Center of Universitas Ponegoro, Ibu Desi Arianti, PhD, to digitally present Certificate of Participation in International Webinar Undip Sustainability Talks on Circular Economy Innovation in Higher Education Institutions to our speakers and moderator.
Thank you, Mbak Vita, the MC. So as I mentioned, this webinar is the kickoff meeting for our Circular Innovation Lab, and we will thank Rolin and also Susan and also Prof. Purwanto to join this webinar and giving us like a really deep insight related to the circular economy and also green industry. So first certificate I will give to Susan Pomeroy. Thank you so much for joining us as a speaker on behalf of Rector, Vice Rector, and also the SDGs. And we will be in this webinars in this digital things later until 10th of August until the program officially ended. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Desi.
The next, we will give also the certificate of a speaker to Rolin Gail Sabrina. Thank you. And yeah, can't wait to meet you later in our program of the Circular Innovations Lab for more deeply brief explanations related to the toolkit and how it goes with the circular economy. Thank you, Rolin.
Thank you, Desi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and last but not least, thank you, Prof. Purwanto. This is a certificate given as a speaker at the Circular Economy Innovations in Higher Education Institutions. Hopefully that the presentations that give by Professor Purwanto can give us the inspirations on more research conducted on the circular economy field. Thank you, Prof. Purwanto.
Thank you, Bu Desi.
And yeah, thank you also for Dr. Ganja Samudro that served as moderator today. Thank you so much. And hopefully in the future, we will invite you as well, not only as a moderator, but also as a speaker. Thank
Yes,
you,
yes.
Pak Janjan.
Yeah, thank you, Bu Desi. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Back to you, Mbak Vita.
Okay, thank you, Budesi. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the international webinar Undip Sustainability Talks on Circular Economy Innovation in Higher Education Institutions. On behalf of the committee, we would also like to take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude for the contribution of all parties, the Vice Rector, Dr. Wijayanto, speakers, moderators, participants. Thank you very much for taking part on the webinar. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a nice day, everyone.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Thank
wabarakatuh. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Susan and
Yeah.
Rolin. Thank you. And also Prof.
Thank
Purwanto.
you.
Okay, thank you
Pak
very
Ganja,
much.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.